Welcome everyone to the regular scheduled board meeting of President Board of Trustees of Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, held on Tuesday, January 16, 2024, beginning at 6:37 p.m. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Brennan?
Present.
Trustee Mahoney is absent. Trustee Mueller?
Here.
Trustee Shaw?
Present.
Trustee Sullivan? Here. President Butts?
Present. Item number one, could you please have a motion to consider approval of the agenda?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Madam Clerk?
Roll call for item one. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number two, can I have a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the regular and special village board meetings held on December 19th and December 28th?
So moved.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
Roll call for item two. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next, we have item number three. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider appointing Darren Persia to the position of Division Police Commander.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Darren joined the Tinley Park Police Department 28 years ago and has spent the last 10 years as administrative sergeant coordinating numerous police projects and supervising various police programs. Prior to his supervisory duties and in addition to officer duties, Darren served as canine officer, fire arson investigator, and evidence technician. He has in-depth knowledge in the administrative police function and police operations, along with 13 years of supervisory experience, and is often called upon for advice and to work through problems and issues on a day-to-day basis. I'd like to ask the board to please consider appointing Darren Persia to Division Police Commander effective January 16th, 2024. Is there any comment from the board?
Just say well deserved. Thanks for all your contributions and hard work. You're the go-to guy there, so appreciate all your continued hard work and dedication to the department, Darren.
Commanders, anything you'd like to say?
I would like to thank the board and Mayor Glatz for this opportunity, Chief Tilton, Deputy Chief Rafferty, Commander Poulos, thank you as well for this opportunity. Just so everybody knows, I got my wife here tonight, Debbie, my mom Judy, my mother-in-law Joyce, a whole lot of friends and family that are really dear to me, and I appreciate them being here. Thank you.
You're welcome. You want to take a picture, Darren, you and your family up front, and then with the your fellow officers?
Sure. There's all the friends. Coach.
One more. Here, you go on up there.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
She's not gonna do it. Oh, my God.
Get him get up and down.
I'm getting old though, I can't keep getting up like that.
Is that where the springs broke? One in the middle.
Thank you.
Only for you, Bill.
Yeah, I can't call.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk?
Roll call for item 3, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Congratulations. Next, we have item 4. We probably have set a record for the most family members, Schmeck Peppers.
I knew I recognized this name.
We've done more appointments of Schmecks than anyone. The only thing we're missing is if you can get a canine dog, that'd be great. Like to ask the board for a motion to, or, I'm sorry, this is Bill Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask the village clerk to conduct the swearing-in ceremony for Sergeant Gregory Schmeckpepper.
I don't think there's no voting on it.
I state your name.
I, Gregory Schmeckpepper,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the ordinances of the Village of Tinley Park,
the ordinances of the Village of Tinley Park,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of police sergeant
the duties of police sergeant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Say anything, Greg, your family?
All right, I'd like to thank my family, friends, wife, and children for helping me along the way and for putting up with me. I'd like to thank the village and the chief for this vote of confidence. I'll do my best to stand to live up to your expectations and just do the best I can all around. Thank you.
Congratulations. I understand.
What's that?
Thank you.
Another one?
Stand by with that photo.
All right, good.
Hold on, hold on, try.
Got it, thank you.
I think so. A little bit about Sergeant Schmeckpepper is he's been a full-time Tinley Park police officer for over 22 years. Before joining Tinley Park, he was an officer in Richmond Park for 7 years. Over the course of his career, Greg has served in many different roles, including as a task force officer for the FBI, detective, field training officer, master firearms instructor, and firearms instructor for Suburban Law Enforcement Academy. Greg is an Eagle Scout and served in the National Guard for 9 years. He received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and has attended the 2-week Northwestern University Center for Public Safety School of Supervision of Police Personnel.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Madam Clerk,
There's no roll call.
what we do on this?
Okay. Roll call for item 4, Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Greg. So next we have item number 5. I'd like to ask the board to consider a proclamation recognizing Tinley Park Police Officer Jason Lamas for life-saving actions.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Thank you. Officer Lamas, we would like to thank you for your life-saving actions on Friday, December 8th, 2023. Whereas on the morning of December 28th, 2023, Officer Lamas was flagged down by a citizen alerting him to a subject lying next to the roadway. And whereas, after Officer Lamas observed a male subject lying face down in the dirt on the side of the roadway with labored breathing, Officer Lamas turned the subject over while calling for additional emergency personnel. And whereas, Officer Lamas began CPR on the subject and maintained life support aid until paramedics arrived on scene to transport the subject to South Suburban Hospital. Now therefore be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois, that Officer Jason Lamas' rapid, composed, and expert response aided in saving a life. Approved the 16th day of January 2024, signed by myself, Village President Michael Glotz, attested by Village Clerk Nancy M. O'Connor. instead of trying to stay out of it. Dragging me back.
No, we're good.
You just sit down.
There you go.
Open up
What? Come on. There he goes. There he goes.
the new sergeant.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
I just want to say thanks to Chief Tilton for recognizing me for this, all the guys for thanking me, paramedics, fire department, especially the fire department because they gave us CPR training 2 days before this happened. So,
Timing is everything.
and the village, of course, for recognizing me for this. So thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
It's all these heroes. All that police hot air.
Someone say drinks in the hallway?
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for item number 5?
Roll call for item 5, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, I'd like to consider the following commission appointment for fiscal year 2024.
So moved.
I will second.
Thank you. It's for Brandon Wigbaldi, who's coming back on the EEC. Any questions? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 6, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 7. I'd like to ask the board for a motion, consider appointment of Hannah Lippman to the position of interim finance director.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any questions from the board? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Roll call for item 7, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Congrats, Anna.
Should we do item 8 next?
Would you like to say something?
Next, we have item number 8. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider appointment of Emma Bolson to the position of Public Works Representative.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Emma joined Public Works Department last April in a part-time clerical position and has demonstrated her abilities to provide support to the department. She has excellent customer service skills, aptitude for technology, and is very detail-oriented. Please consider appointing Emma to the position of Public Works Service Representative effective January 17, 2024. Is there any questions from the board? Emma, would you like to say anything?
Just want to say thank you to the village for all the opportunities that you guys have given me, and I look forward to serving the residents full-time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Bolson?
Is that like over here?
All right. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 8, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Keep my-
The record reflects the first time that John and I have seen Mr. Bolson quiet. Item number 9. Like to ask for a motion to consider appointing Armando to the position of maintenance technician.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. I'll give it to Bill.
Okay.
Armando has 19 years of experience in the telecommunications industry, performing a variety of technician field work and most recently working as a laborer for 2 years in public works operations, performing general streets maintenance, assisting with the water main repairs, running routes and snow removal operations. He is skilled with operating a variety of heavy equipment and holds a Class B with air brake endorsements. I'd like to ask the board to consider appointing Armando to the position of maintenance technician effective January 17th, 2024. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 9, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, Emma. You guys can go. See you, Nick. Only time Larry's ever been quiet. Item 10. Is he sitting back there hiding? I'd like to ask the board to consider proclaiming January 2nd, 2024 as Ken I always mess this up. Karshevsky Day in the village of Tinley Park in honor of his retirement after 13 years of service to the village of Tinley Park, plus also his 23 years as a police officer, 26. So 39 years. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Fight, you got it. Brady?
Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed towards the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Village of Tinley Park's Community Development Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting the department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude towards assigned job tasks make up a profile of this dedicated employee. Whereas the Village of Tinley Park, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge this employee with indebtedness and gratitude for 13 years of dedication and proficiency in the Community Development Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the President, Clerk, Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, held on behalf of over 57,000 citizens herein represented, hereby proclaim January 2nd, 2024, Ken Karshevsky Day, did it, in the Village of Tinley Park, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing our gratitude and appreciation to this employee who has provided outstanding service of 39 years. Adopted the 16th day of January 2024, signed by myself, Village President Michael Glotz, Village Clerk Nancy O'Connor, and trustees Bill Brady, Dennis Mahoney, Kenneth Shaw, Bill Brennan, Michael Mueller, and Colleen Solomon.
What power's not invested? Everybody's got a day off. Thanks, Ken.
Want to go?
Sure.
I'll just send it to him.
Where's your wife? You're the mayor.
Got it. Do
Have your, want to take a
you want me to try taking one with your phone? Oh, it's still on here.
Where's cocktails?
There you go. Got it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Stay away from us.
Nice to see you. You too.
Congratulations, Ben.
Madam Clerk, you please call the roll for item number 10.
Roll call for item 10, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 11, receive presentation of the Tinley Park Business Spotlight. Crema Coffee Roasters by President Glatz and Clerk O'Connor. Yes.
Crema Coffee Roasters, located in the Oak Park Avenue train station at 6700 South Street, offers high-quality, small-batch coffees from select locations around the world. We are pleased to welcome Casey Wydicki, owner of Crema Coffee Roasters.
Hello. Thank you for having us here this evening. I'm Casey, the owner of Crema Coffee Roasters. We established ourselves in 2017 in Plainfield, Illinois. Our journey has led us to expand to 4 locations now in the suburbs, and one of them is including our Oak Park Avenue train station here in Tinley Park. At Crema, we specialize in crafting exceptional high-end coffees. Our focus is using specialty grade beans, and we take pride in serving top-notch lattes made with locally sourced milk. Beyond coffee, our menu boasts of a diverse selection of sandwiches, toasts, and small bites, catering to all of your breakfast and lunch needs. We go the extra mile by baking all of our bread in our Plainfield location, creating our sauces from scratch and ensuring that our food is prepared to order. Our mission is to establish an all-inclusive community space where people can come together and gather. They can enjoy exceptional coffee and good company, and we are dedicated to providing an inviting atmosphere for everyone. In addition to the coffee experience, you can rent out our station to host events and collaborations. From our passionate team to our wonderful patrons, our shop embodies that everything, especially coffee, is better together. We are looking forward to contributing and to continuing to be a part of this thriving community here in Tinley, and we hope to see you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have item number 12. There's no action for this. The Village of Tinley Park was recognized as Public Body of the Year by the Construction Industry Service Corporation, known as Cisco. Cisco recently awarded the Village of Tinley Park their Public Body of the Year award for protecting taxpayers through supporting workers and investing in the future. Cisco is a nonprofit labor management association. The primary mission of Cisco is to strengthen the unionized construction market in the greater Chicago metropolitan area. Cisco currently represents over 8,000 union contractors and 140,000 workers in Cook, DePage, Lake, Kane, Kendall, and McHenry counties. So basically, this is an amazing award for the Village of Tinley Park to receive of all the other communities that are out there, and it starts from our staff and our board and our residents. And I'm just honored that we were chosen for this award, and it just shows that the construction industry is watching what we're doing and that are a leader in this industry. So, again, I want to thank all of our board and our staff that helped us get this great honor. And John, myself, and Pat will be receiving this award in honor of the village on Friday. So, again, thank you, everyone. Any comments from the board?
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Later, Ken will tell me. Next, we have item number 13. May I have a motion to consider approval of the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Thank you. Consent agenda items have been publicly posted and available for review on the agenda for this meeting. Would anyone from the board like any of these items removed from the consent agenda? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 13, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 14. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2024-0-001, amending Title 13, Chapter 132, Section 23.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Upon reviewing Chapter 132, Section 123, Village of Tinley Park Municipal Code, staff identified an inconsistency in the ordinance, specifically regarding the prorated amount that can be charged for the license fee. This, like we discussed in the cow, this is just cleaning up that one sentence. By amending the language as seen in Exhibit 1, the village will clarify when the prorated amount can be applied to applications. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held prior to this meeting. Is there any questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 14, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item 15, since trustee Mahoney isn't here. Trustee Mueller, since you used to be the chair, would you mind taking it?
Yeah, and I'm gonna change this one up a little bit and actually state it in the negative. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to deny a masonry variation for certain property located at 5 Messiana Court.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So the petitioners are requesting a variation to section V.C.4.B of the zoning ordinance to reduce the amount of required face brick on the first story of an exterior wall for a single-family detached dwelling at 5 Messiana Court in Odyssey Club subdivision. Plan Commission held a public hearing on January 4th, 2024, and voted 0-6, recommending denial of the requested variation in accordance with the listed plans and findings of facts in the staff report. So this, I believe we'll skip first reading, and it would just be a denial if we get the required votes for it tonight.
Correct. So, with the motion to deny, so the normal protocol is on first reading, it's not open to the public to discuss it. But I believe since there was a motion to deny it, I believe that we should have public discussion. So if this is proper, Paul, can I have a motion to allow public comment on this item, on item 15, before the vote is cast?
Yes, so the motion is to suspend the rule of no comment for first reading. So if somebody makes that motion, the second we vote on that, then the petitioner can speak.
So if we could I please have a motion so that we all have an opportunity to have the petitioner and the public speak before anyone votes?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion was granted to suspend the normal rules for a first reading. So now, I think before the board comments, I'd like to open it up to the petitioner and the public.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, board members. So we have requested this variance in the last board commissioners meeting, and we were denied. We did this motion because anything that we did was not done deliberately. Everything was unintentional. We are at the completion of this house, and because of, I don't think it's such a big problem, but because of this problem, we're not able to probably be able to move in and have an occupancy permit. This all started because one of the neighbors had a little issue. But anyway, we had applied for the permit June 6th of 2022. At the same time, there was another builder on April 6th of 2022 who also requested the exact same kind of variance and was granted the same kind of variance. Upon talking to Paul Spass, the builder, he said go for the variance, but he also said to me it's going to be denied because it's not what you know, is who you know at the village, which was very, very disturbing to me. Also, upon reading all your comments at the other meeting that when it was approved, all the commissioners agreed with Paul Spass' style. It's exactly the same 4 feet of brick, and his is vinyl siding. We don't even have any vinyl siding. We have all masonry type material. But his house, according to all the commissioners, styles appears to be, they all commented, the new style appears to add value to the neighborhood. It will be a nice addition to the neighborhood. The neighborhood will benefit from it. And all the commissioners agreed to this. But whereas when we asked for the variance, it was denied. So that's very disturbing to me. We are asking for exact same thing, exact same 4 feet of brick. When I went for the permit on June 6th, this had already passed. Even according to Trustee Galanty asked if the board should even review this section of the code. Community Development Director Clark stated that the village would investigate this to place guidance in the code to assist homeowners. If this was all done, I should have been informed by the village. Maybe you should, when I gave my regular original permit, an original sketch, that maybe you should go for the variance instead of totally denying it and telling me that only 8 foot of brick is required. Now, since I build it according to our homeowner, now in between, almost 2 years have passed, and we were looking at our homeowner's guidelines in Odyssey, which I did not know it supersedes Tinley Park. Like I said, we are the first-time builders here. This is our retirement home. So if we would have known, and if we wouldn't have gotten the paper from the Odyssey State Homes, which states clearly that materials should come to logical point of terminus, such as inside corners, masonry, driveway, stone, veneer, and synthetic stucco. This was given to me by the president of the Odyssey. And looking at this, we went with the 4 feet of brick, and then we put the sill up. After we put the sill up, we called for final brick inspection. Village sent somebody for the final brick inspection. They looked at the 4 feet of brick and the sill that went all around it. They passed it. Even if at that time the village would have told me, hey, why did you stop after the 4 feet? What are you going to put on top of it? It was a village representative who was there at my home looking at it. But nobody helped me. Nobody even stated that at that time that maybe you should go to the village or even ask me, what are you going to put? You already have a sill up. What are you going to put on top of it? We would have stopped the work there and gone to the village and asked for the variance. But the confusion was only because we had two different items. We were not sure about the village item, but we were very much sure about the Odyssey Club State items because going around the neighborhood, we saw there's like 5 homes that have the similar kind of stucco all the way down to the first level.
Hey, Laura, do you have to clock on?
Also during the meeting during your meeting with Paul Spass, it was at the village board meeting, it was stated that they should go into review with the section board. My main concern is only that the treatment that I got from last 2 weeks ago from all the commissioners was very, very ill-treated. We were like totally not heard at all. We were like just put on the side. We were denied by everybody, not given any explanation or anything. I did my own research with Paul Spass. I did my own research by looking at your videos. And that's when I found out that within a month, this happened within 1 month, May to June. If Village would have told me anything about it, that, hey, there was this variance passed a month ago for the same issue, why don't you apply for a variance? I 100% surely would have gone there and applied for the variance. But we are the first-time builder, and we were not aware of it. But for me to do anything at this point, I will not be able to move into my house. Also, to me, it looks like the village helped Paul Spass a lot. They even went out above and beyond, taking pictures of his house. My house exceeds more superior than any of that house that happened in Tinley Park, the variance that was passed. But when I asked even for one member from the village to come and look at my house, not one person came. But over here, I was reading all the stuff that, oh, thank you, Lori, for coming out to the house and taking pictures. Why didn't anybody come to my house? Why didn't anybody advise me of anything? It's not like it will be the only house in the whole Tinley Park. It's not the only house in the whole Tinley Park with the 4 feet of brick. There are other houses too that are older house, but they probably did not need a variance, but they all renovated, and they all have 4 feet of brick and siding on top. There's so many, I can give you addresses in Tinley Park that has 4 feet of brick and siding or vinyl siding or something else. Whereas our house is much more, and all our neighbors came to the commission to the last variance meeting, supporting us, telling us, yes, this house looks very good in our neighborhood because it's built after 20 years. And because it's building after 20 years, there are more houses that are coming in. There are 4 more projects that are going to be stating in the same subdivision now because we started building the house. The neighbors are very happy because it's going to bring the value of the neighborhood up.
There are 5 more. Literally, they came to me and they said, how come we don't have any homes like this, and why don't you build a home for us, a similar home? I mean, the home is so unique, it's so nice, it's so contemporary. Everybody has the same feeling of building the similar homes. And those 5 people that came to me, they are literally buyers to build in the same subdivision, a similar home. But if they see something different, they might change their mind.
And it was said in the previous meeting that Naperville, Plainfield, Lamont, they're all showing the brick on the only 4 feet of brick on the first floor. They're all going with the same type of look. And all the commissioners, all the board members agreed with that it's a very good look, and we will try to put this in our thing. My only thing is that we just went ahead of ourselves. That's all we did.
And we just wanted to agree. If we can grant us that variance, that would be, if you come down and take a look at it, just take a look at it and see how the home is built. you're gonna be
It's
amazed.
a very unique home. It's gonna bring really good value to the Tinley Park. We want to live in Tinley Park. We are good citizens. We are tax-paying people.
We've been
We
living in
don't,
Frankfurt for the last 40 years.
we don't want to create any problems at all. We do not want to create any problems at all. And like I said, whatever was done was not done intentionally at all.
So please, this is what we're asking for.
So where, I'm sorry, I want to make sure you,
No, please, we're asking for the variance, that's what we're asking.
no, I just want to make sure that you're finished. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yes, sir, we are finished.
You're all done.
Mhm.
So you keep mentioning, another house was built and approved in the Odyssey?
No, not in Odyssey.
There are
In
homes
Tinley
in
Park.
Odyssey. There are
But in Tinley Park, just because you build one in one part of Tinley Park, like they discussed with you at the Plan Commission, it's based on the area, it's based on subdivisions. Different subdivisions have different rules. And did you,
Also depends on when the code was changed, too.
yep, and did you sign, just like fences,
Right.
did you sign an affidavit when you came to staff, knowing that you would be that you were fully on the hook, and that since you were gonna be your own GC, since you guys are, I've watched a meeting twice now to make sure I didn't miss anything. You guys are rehabbers, so you're familiar with construction. Did you or did you not sign an affidavit with the Village of Tinley Park stating that you knew that you had to follow the Village of Tinley Park rules and the codes?
We did. We followed all the way up to the point when President of the Odyssey brought us that paper saying that you can drive it, you can have all those things, you can have up to 4 feet of width.
But the Odyssey does not make the decisions for the Village of Tinley Park. So
That's
when
correct.
When people go in there, they have to follow the rules. It's just like anywhere you go, whether it's Frankfurt, if you go to a town and you're rehabbing a town. If the rules say that you have to get an inspection for electrical or plumbing work, and you don't get it, what happens? They red tag the job, and they shut you down, right? Or they make you rip it out. When a plumber comes in and they don't see that glue that's on all the joints, what do? They make you rip out all the plumbing. Those are the rules. We didn't create them or make them, but those are the rules. It's just like anything else you do. And trust me, I feel for you. And number one, I want to thank the Plan Commission, our staff. I think they did an amazing job. And, you said that you didn't think that, that I forget exactly what you said, but said like you weren't heard, I think is what you said with they did hear you, and they were, and Chairman Gray and a lot of the commissioners were very nice, and even Commissioner West even said, I'm not up here to make a decision based on what I like. I think it's beautiful, but it's not the point. The point is, these are the rules that we have to abide by. And the part that's really difficult to get past, at least for me, it would be that
Can I also make?
your application for stucco was denied. When was the application for the stucco denied?
June 6th
Of when?
of 2022. That was within 1 month of Mr. Paul Spass variance. If they would have just told me at that
It has
time.
nothing to do with anyone else did. So your application was denied June 6, 2022.
No, that's when we gave our application. I think maybe it was a week or two later, probably.
So in the month of June.
In the
Is that
month of
safe
June,
to say?
right.
And then you had new stamped plans approved, if from my notes are correct from the Plan Commission meeting, I think you said July of 2022, is that correct?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So then you
Right.
resubmitted it because it was denied because of the stucco, I'm assuming, is that right, AJ? So it was denied because of the stucco, and then when it was denied, was there notes given to them or explained why?
No.
No.
Yes, there is. Walt Smart did a review of the plans, and when he reviewed the plans, it didn't meet the intent of the masonry on the first floor. He puts a very specific section in there saying, with the code section, and that is submitted in with all of our corrections in one shot. New plans were then revised, showed the masonry going all the way up, and that's when the plan was approved, as it did meet the intent of the planning code.
And that's why they were stamped.
That's correct.
And so you said it's been 2 years. it's been 2 years now. That's not true, because if they were approved in July, which is the 7th month, you're not even on a month and a half of since the plans were
No.
approved.
We did
If you're approved in July,
we started
you only
masonry.
have, what, 5 more months left in the month of June?
Masonry, we just did masonry in July of August of 2023. It was a year,
But the point
almost,
is, you said it's been 2 years. The stamp plans were just approved in July. So it's been less than a year and a half since this has happened. It's not been 2 years, as you
Yes,
stated.
yes, year and a half, right.
Make sure I correct that, because you said it was 2 years. And the problem I have, when did you start installing your stucco that was denied?
the last year in the summer,
In
like
July
July or August of 23.
So,
And that's when the village, that's when we asked for the inspection of the brick also at the same time.
I mean, do you realize what position, even if the village wanted to go against the ordinances, go against staff, that you were denied and they did their due diligence and they did their job, and we said, you know what, let's just approve it. What message does that send across to everyone else?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's been,
There's
this,
nothing-
this,
it was
in
it was denied.
1970, oh, I'm sorry?
It was denied. You got a in a month, you got stamped plans to build it correctly, and like building official Coleman just stated, you guys were told exactly why it was denied, correct?
Right.
And then you went and built it anyways.
But it was,
We
it
can't-
was,
it's
it
not-
was a
it's not-
confusion, like I said.
it's
As being
not
a first-time
fair-
builder,
It's not fair to all the other builders or anyone else that follows the rules. Like when I built my shed, I went and got a permit for the electric to run from my shed. I had my inspection. I had to have a separate circuit breaker just for a shed. Was it costly? Yes, it cost me a fortune. But that's what the ordinance said. That's what I had to follow. And we can't just, the problem with that is people, we just had it recently with someone that built a monstrosity of a deck that looked like a second house, right? And we had to vote on that. We denied it, and then staff went and talked to them, and they had to rip it down. It's unfortunate, and I feel horribly sorry for you, but you signed an affidavit, your rehab, it's not like you're an over-the-road truck driver and you don't know anything about construction. You're very,
This is the first time building.
you know a lot about construction as a rehabber.
not as an exterior
It-
rehabber.
It was denied, and then you went a step further, got the plans corrected, and then built it anyways. And so I personally,
The thing was, the architect is the one who called us and said. that
Didn't you
it is
say you're an
denied,
architect
It's not gonna be,
at the plan commission meeting, didn't you state that you're an architect?
No,
no,
he's not an architect.
I'm not an architect. I have an architect Olson, Sean Olson.
Okay.
He's the architect. He's the one who called the village, and they're the one who told him that it cannot be done. I was never told.
Okay.
They were told the architect, and the architect said, this is the situation. You're not gonna be able to get that 4 feet of brick.
Does anyone else from the board have any comments?
I do.
Go ahead.
So, some of this is duplicative of what you've said, Mr. Mayor, but I just want to state up front, you began your comments saying it's not what you know, but who you know.
That's what he said.
Not my,
No,
not
it's
my
not. That's-
comment.
Well, but you brought that here and repeated
Yes.
it.
That's what he said. It's
It was
not-
very
Okay.
disturbing to me when a builder is talking to me and telling me that don't go for a variance because you're not
You
gonna
said
get
it
it.
for a reason. You're trying to make a point here. And what I'm saying is that you started off on a bad foot.
You're right.
And you then followed up with a whole bunch of reasons why you don't know this, you didn't know this, you didn't know this, when the reality is, it is what you know. It's not who you know, it's what you know. And Mr. Mayor, I've made the point before that I would like to seriously consider that the village think about not allowing people to be their own general contractor going forward. That's a separate issue. But
You might be right,
for us
absolutely.
to run into this type of situation here, But you said multiple times you didn't know, and it's the village's responsibility. I watched the plan commission meeting multiple times. I've read all the reports. I looked at the plans. And the fact pattern that was clearly laid out, and you repeated it again tonight, is that you submitted plans. They were denied. Building officials, Mr. Smart gave comment about why it was denied. The revised plans were submitted. They were approved, but what was built was had already been denied. You signed a contractor's affidavit stating that you do know, and now you're coming here saying you didn't know and it was the village's responsibility to inform
not
you.
at all.
We're not saying
The
it's the village's-
individuals, hold on, I didn't ask a question, okay? You made comments, I'm trying to get this out here. The individuals that you mentioned several of them, they don't speak for the village. Okay? Every variance stands alone. It was already mentioned that we have different codes and different standards in different parts of town. Every time there's a variance, there's the standards for granting a variance, there's findings of facts, and all the facts are different for each case, and they have to be considered separately. The mayor made a really good point. This is not really a matter of precedent, but it's a matter of granting approval after the fact for things. A professional general contractor understands building codes, understands how the processes work, how permitting works, understands when something's denied, what the opportunities for variances are, and how the variance processes work. So on the one hand, and believe me, I understand, but you signed an affidavit stating that you were competent and qualified and would take responsibility for this effort, yet you didn't. And
That was our unintentional.
Sir, will you let him finish?
No, I understand your intent. And a professional contractor would also know that homeowners association standards, rules, don't supersede village code.
We found out now. We have no idea. Literally, we found out now that
So
it does not.
unfortunately, had you followed the process, had you just simply followed the process, I have no idea whether or not Plan Commission would have recommended approval and whether the board would have approved it. Where we
That's what
are,
we should
where
have
we
done.
are right now is that the board's in a position right now where the facts exist that nothing was followed. And in fact, it was, whether you intended to or not, you went completely against the code, completely against the process. So for the board to support approval, just simply opens the door for everybody to do what they want and then come in and say, well, it looks nice.
No, I'm sorry, that's not the way it is. That's not.
I understand you've expressed what your intent was, and I appreciate that. I'm explaining.
Bottom of heart is that's not the intent. If any one of you just come down and take a look at the home, you'll be saying, this is the kind of a home should be building in this area.
It's not
This
about
is-
coming
it's
to-
not-
The
It's not about
unfortunate
coming
thing
up
is that it's not about what the house looks like. I appreciate that. It's a matter of taste, whether someone likes it or doesn't like it. But that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because you violated the code, you submitted a plan, it was denied, and you built it anyway. What it looks like is irrelevant. So, anyway, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Brennan?
No, I'm not going to be duplicative on this. I agree. I mean, with everything that Trustee Shaw said, I think this is, it's an unfortunate, I do feel
He
for you.
followed all the rules, except for this one.
Well, that's a big one.
Except for one, I mean, we followed every rule that is.
The one you didn't follow was the one that got denied.
Yeah.
You went to and had a stamped new plan to do it correctly
I
according
wish
to the
somebody would
code.
have told us.
And then it's not like Chairman Garrett said, it's not like you changed the window trim. You changed the reason that you were denied. So, sorry, go ahead, Ken.
No,
Bill.
I'll just say, we did inform you, as building official Coleman said. And I do think it's unfortunate. I do feel for you. I think but just to kind of plead ignorance on the whole thing, we can't.
Even you guys even said that in the last meeting, that this should be allowed. And
It's a
help the homeowners.
No.
It is.
I think it's a
your
beautiful
thing.
home. I think it's a beautiful home, but I agree.
It's in the
I agree
la-
with my
la-
fellow trustees. So
Last year thing is, it says clearly in your meeting that this should be allowed and this should be the new look of, I mean, you know.
On your house?
Not in our house,
No, no.
but
In the Odyssey?
Not in Odyssey, in any part
in
of the
Tinley Park, it said, that you guys said that.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yeah, I watched the Plan Commission meeting. I do feel for you with this. I do think that they were very respectful to both of you. It was a very long meeting for that, just this discussion. So I do think they spent a lot of time going over this. A couple issues that I have, I was a little bit on the fence with this, but once I listened at the plan commissioners, the time they spent explaining everything. The one thing that you mentioned, there was plans, they got denied, plans that got approved. Then you said the inspector came out when you put the sill in, but never asked you, what your intentions were for the rest of it. Well, the inspector has plans that were submitted, so that's what they're thinking that you're doing. So I don't think it's the inspector's job to ask you what you're doing based on plans that were actually approved. Does that make sense?
It does, not if you call for final inspection, though.
Yeah, well, yeah,
If you call for a final inspection of the brick, they should say, why is this a final inspection of the brick? The brickwork is not done yet.
I don't know, I just,
That's what we should have, that's what we should have heard from the inspector, saying, if this is a final inspection, it's not done. It's not a final
Was it a
inspection.
final inspection for plumbing? Was it for electrical? Was
For-
it for structural?
For the brick. It was specific, we called it for the brick.
Were you done?
yeah, I just, I don't know, I don't think there was, bad intentions of what you did. However, there's processes that we have to go through. And the fact is, there was the plan submitted, denied, new plans approved, you signed off on those, you knew what was approved by the village to move forward with that. I love seeing the development Odyssey, that's where I moved to
There are
Odyssey Club in
five
'95.
homes.
I love seeing new homes getting built in there.
Well, this is
There's
the
not
first
even one
home,
home.
there is no
But-
home getting built in there. This is our
I know.
first home after 20 years.
Believe me, I know, because I was hoping that there was more homes in there when I sold
They
my
will be.
place, but.
I mean, they are.
But it's a beautiful home. I have seen your home, so it is absolutely beautiful. There's no denying that, but that's not, we can't base our votes on, well, your house is pretty, let's, vote yes. The one thing I don't know if it is possible, I hate to hold up any, and this is not, my position to, say you can or can't, but I guess it would ask for, if an occupancy permit, I would hate for any delay for an occupancy permit, but if there was something put in place that it's like you have a certain time frame that you need to have this replaced or
It's
whatever the
over.
vote may be, I would just hate to have them, hate to delay them moving in over this issue, but I do think this issue is going to have to get resolved at some point, but I just hope we don't have to hold up a permit for them, but if we could have a time frame put in place or something, I don't know if that's possible or not, it's not I don't know a lot about that with the closing and the approvals, but that's my 2 cents on the whole thing, so I don't think you had bad intentions on it, however.
We were just saying that if something was done within a month and somebody would have just walked us through it saying, hey, instead of totally denying our plan, saying, why don't you go for a variance, it would have been much better. Within not even a month, from June 7th, June 21st meeting to our plans at the exact same time.
2022, yeah.
In 2022.
Trustee Mueller?
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat a lot of the points that were made here today. I will say that I went and visited the site yesterday. I drove out there to see what the house looked like. I will say that it is extremely unique in that neighborhood. One of those houses does not look like the others, and it's your particular house. There's a lot of brick in that neighborhood. There is brick on a lot of those houses. They go all the way up 3 stories with the brick in some of the houses that I saw. I don't know, how this came about, but you have to build what was approved. And what I'm really frustrated by is during the variance process, the hardships that listed is essentially self-created. And we can't go with hardships that are self-created and start allowing variances based on that. Those are just not the way to do good business here in Tinley.
I agree with you.
Trustee Brady?
Don't want to belabor the obvious. I have to agree with the mayor and my fellow trustees here. And I too drove out there on Sunday, and it is beautiful, but as obviously put out, you knew what you shouldn't have done because it was rejected, but you did it anyways. Got to follow the rules.
But if you see the drive-it, the thing that is used in the thing, it's a masonry product. It's not a siding or anything.
It's not siding, it's
Literally,
not stucco.
We've been talking about this for probably 15 minutes. We have to now open it up to public comment.
Mr. Mayor, if you could just allow me a leeway.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to emphasize one more point here. Again, going back to what I'm taking particular issue with is what your opening statement was. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm going back to, it is what you know. And I take particular exception with that because there have been a lot of accusations to this board in particular about what you just said, who you know, what you know.
not us.
Let me finish. Who you know, and people getting special treatment and all that. And quite frankly, if the board gave in to this, then it is a matter of that. However you want to characterize it, previous administrations did not hold the community to standards. There was not an expectation of consistency going through Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, to the board. You never knew what you were going to get. And quite frankly, in previous administrations, it could be characterized as what you just said. That is not this board, and we cannot let things like this stand.
We were
We have
surprised.
to allow things.
We were literally surprised of what he said. That, wow, is that a kind of a comment that he can make?
Thank you, Ken. Is there
Sorry.
anyone from the
I
public?
appreciate you letting me
Yeah.
emphasize
Would
that.
anyone from the public like to comment? Yes, sir. Can you step up?
Hi, George.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit. I'm going to be reading here. I would like to read a message on behalf of my wife, Laretha McDonald Sannon, and myself, George Sannon. First, to the family who is requesting the deviation, we welcome you wholeheartedly to our community. We do, however, hope that you are rescinded your request for a deviation and follow the permit you knowingly signed. Secondly, to the Village of Tinley Park, we are hoping you follow the recommendations of the planning commissioners and deny the request for a deviation. Not to do so would set an unwanted precedent, in our opinion, wife and I, contribute to chaos. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm a resident of Odyssey. I have a mask on. I just had a heart transplant, so I can't take any germs.
Sure.
We have had a problem with people doing whatever they want in our community, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And we're trying to fix it so that now everybody follows the rules. If you don't let everybody to follow the rules, then nobody should follow the rules. If nobody's following the rules, then why do we need the HOA there? Why do we need anybody? Why do we need you guys if everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do? Whatever the reason was, we don't think that it should be allowed to be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your comment.
Would anyone else like to make any public comment? conflict? There's none. Any last comments from the board?
Just remember that it's phrased in the negative.
Yeah, it's phrased in the negative, so.
Do you want to just give them an overview
Right, so,
of what each vote means?
right, so it's a motion to deny, so an affirmative is to deny, and then a vote to no is to vote against the denial.
Thank you. Madam, any questions before we vote? Madam Clerk?
Roll call for item 15, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. So item 15 is, the variation is denied. Item 16, trustee Brady?
Yes, if the board consider adopting ordinance 2024-0-003, amending the rules and regulations for the Tinley Park Civil Service Commission.
So moved?
Thank you.
I'll
Go
second the
ahead.
motion.
The ordinance would make 3 main changes to the civil service rules and regulations. Upon staff discussion with approval of the commission, the recommended changes include changing a lateral hiring process to an ongoing open candidate pool, providing part-time patrol officers who have served with Tinley Park preference points should they apply to be a full-time officer, and allowing lateral hires to conduct 2 prior years of service towards requirements for sergeant promotional testing. These changes are meant to help support hiring needs and allowing for internal growth, given the ongoing challenges of hiring for public safety positions. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting. Prior to this meeting, the ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Bill? Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 16, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 17, trustee Bill Brady.
Yes, Your Mayor, thank you. Considering adopting ordinance 2024-0-004, amending Title 11, Chapter 129F, residential rental licenses.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Nope, sorry.
Thank you. Upon review of the village residential rental licensing process, staff is recommending various changes to clarify and clean up the existing code. These changes include the following: adjustment of annual fees, addition of penalty selection for failure to comply with the code, clarifying licensing requirement process, and other various cleanup. The item was discussed at the committee of the whole prior to the meeting. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions from the board? Any?
I don't have questions, but just a couple of comments on this. I want to just repeat what I said in the committee of the whole meeting earlier today. I think this is a really good and necessary first step, particularly the inclusion of penalties and clarifying some other points from a financial perspective. It's a very good positive step for the village and for this particular ordinance, helping the village make some really great steps in terms of having better governance over rentals in general in the community. In light of the case that we just heard here and some comments made by some individuals in the public, I would also like to say that this follows that same track in terms of having consistency of operations for the community and holding people to standards that can be understood and expected and consistent across the community. I think this is a good step. I think staff and many of the board already know my opinion about some additional steps that we need to take, but good first step, and I'm looking forward to having this enacted. Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 17, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 18, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting an ordinance 2024-0-005 of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, approving a third amended and restated water sale purchase and service agreement by and among the Village of Oak Lawn, Cook County, Illinois, and other municipalities, and authorizing the execution and delivery of said amended agreement.
Second it.
Go ahead, Mike.
This third amended and restated agreement now have 3 additional communities to share in paying for the approximately $285,202,013 Regional System Improvement Project. The Southeast Community portion will now account for almost 14.5%, or about $40 million of the local capital funding needed, which would otherwise have been covered by Oak Lawn North and Southwest communities. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 18, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 19, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2024-R-001, approving an agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Libertyville Township for the 84th Avenue to 179th Street Multi-Use Path Extension Project Wetland Bank Credits.
I'll make the motion.
Go
I'll second.
Second. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Conley. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held just prior to this meeting and is eligible for adoption tonight.
Any questions? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 19, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 20, receive comments from staff.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to thank you and the board for recognizing our 2 new promoted police leaders. Those are fine choices, and thank you all for your support. I'd also like to thank you for the proclamation recognizing one of our heroes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Chief.
Anyone from this side? Nope. Item 21, receive comments from the board. Anyone from the board care to comment?
I would, Mr. Mayor. I would like to thank our Public Works Department and everybody that was involved in a terrific snowstorm, ice storm, rain, all that happened out there. It's not an easy thing to keep up with when the snow is blowing and it's continuing coming down sideways. And I think our members of the Public Works did a fine job, and I wanted to thank them publicly.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I second that.
Third.
Anyone else? Nope. I just like to add, this week we had a great job fair put together by our staff, Donna Framke, Carolyn Matera, and Hannah Littman, who have been a part of that committee. I want to thank the Village of Orland, Mayor Pekow and his staff, Cook County Commissioner Sean Morrison and his staff, and Orland Township, and Supervisor O'Grady. It was a huge turnout, and I forget how many vendors do we have there?
There were 43, 44?
It was almost 60 vendors.
60 spots, but I think there were a few less vendors, but nonetheless, a lot.
A lot of vendors,
Well, thank you for all the work putting that. It was a huge success. Next, we have item number 22, receive comments from the public. Anyone from the public care to comment? Let the record reflect there are none. Item 23, I'd like to ask the board for a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the following. The purchase or lease of real property for the use of public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, and C, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, second?
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sutton?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. We will not be returning. Have a good night.